1, 2, 3. Today is a wonderful day, and it's the second class of my wonderful students, Olivia X. Wang, and she is going to read this wonderful book called Mark Twain's Huckleberry Finn. Huckleberry Finn, and she's going to read for us chapter 1.
Yes.
This wonderful book.
Just a couple pages.
You have to tell us why the wonderful book, and then you read chapter 1. Impress us, amaze me. Go.
Okay, so this is an amazing book because there's like so many funny scenes, and like the writer is like Mark Twain. He's like super clever about his jokes and stuff, and like yeah. So I'm gonna start reading a couple pages of chapter 1 if I can find it. Why is chapter 1 so far in? Sorry. Yeah. Chapter 1. You don't know me. You don't know about me without you have read a book by the name of The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. But that ain't no matter. That book was made by Mr. Mark Twain, and he told the truth, mainly. There was things which he stretched, but mainly he told the truth. That is nothing. I never seen anybody but lied one time or another. Without it was Aunt Polly, or the widow, or maybe Mary. Aunt Polly, Tom's Aunt Polly, she is, and Mary and the widow Douglas is all about in the book, which is mostly a true book with some stretchers, as I said before. Now, the way the book winds up is this. Tom and me found the money that the robbers hid in the cave, and it made us rich. We got $6,000 apiece, all gold. It was an awful sight of money when it was piled up. Well, Judge Thatcher, he took it and put it out at interest, and it fetched us $1 a day apiece, all the year round. More than a body could tell what to do with. The widow Douglas, she took me for her son, and she allowed she would civilize me. But it was rough living in the house all the time, considering how small, regular, and decent the widow was on all her ways. And so I couldn't stand it no longer. I lit out. I got into my old rags and my sugar hogshead again, and was free and satisfied. By the way, hogshead is a large barrel made to hold a ship's supply of sugar. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like I was saying, but Tom Sawyer, he hunted me up and he said if we were going to start a bank of robbers, and I might join him if I was going to go back to the widow and be respectable. So I went back. The widow, she cried over me, called me a poor lost lamb, and she called me a lot of names too, but she never meant no harm by it. She put me in the new clothes again, and I couldn't do nothing but sweat and feel all cramped up. Well, then, when the old thing commenced, again, the widow rung a bell for supper, and he had to come to time. When he got to the table, he couldn't go right to eating, but he had to wait for the widow to tuck head and grumble a little with victuals, though there weren't really anything that matter with them. That is nothing, only everything was by itself. When a barrel of odds and ends it is different, things get mixed up, and the juice kind of stops around, and things go better. After supper, she got out her book and learned me about Moses and the bulrushes, and I was in a sweat to find out all about him. Oh yeah, I'm in the camera now. Yeah. Okay. I was in a sweat to find out all about him. But by and by, she let it out that Moses had been dead a considerable long time. And then I didn't care no more about him because I don't take no stock in dead people. Pretty soon I wanted to smoke and asked the widow to let me, but she wouldn't. She said it was a mean practice and it wasn't clean and I was trying to do it anymore. That's just the way with some people. They get down on a thing when they don't know nothing about it. There she was, bothering about Moses, which was no kin to her, and no use to anybody being gone, you see. Yet finding the power of fall with me doing a thing that had some good in it. And she took snuff too, of course. That was all right, because she done it herself. Her sister, Miss Watson, a tolerable, slim old maid, with goggles on, had just come to live with her, and took a set at me now with a spelling book. She worked me middling hard for about an hour, and then the widow made her ease up. I couldn't stand it much longer. Then for an hour it was deadly dull and I was fidgety. Miss Watson would say, "Don't be dear Huckleberry."
Wonderful. Keep on going.
Yeah.
Keep on going.
Yeah. And pretty soon she would say, "Don't gab your shreds like that, Huckleberry. Why don't you try to behave?" Then she told me all about the bad place, and I said I wish I was there. And she got mad. But I didn't mean no harm. All I wanted to do was to go somewhere. All I wanted was a change. I wasn't particular. She said it was wicked to say what I said, and she wouldn't say it for the whole world. She was going to live so to go to the good place. Well, I couldn't see no advantage in going where she was going, so I made up my mind I wouldn't try for it. But I never said so because it would only make trouble and wouldn't do so no good. Now she had a good start, and she would went on and told me all about the good place, blah, 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 blah. She said all a body would do to go there was to go around all day with a harp and sing forever and ever. So I didn't think much of it, but I never said so. I asked if she reckoned Tom Sawyer would go there, and she said, "Not by a recognizable sign." I was glad about that because I wanted him and me to be together. Miss Watson, she kept pecking at me, and it got tiresome and lonesome. By and by, they fetched the slaves in and had prayers, and everybody went off to bed. I went up to my room with a piece of candle and put it on the table. Then I sat down on the chair by the window and tried to think of something cheerful, but I weren't no use. I got so lonesome I most wished I was dead. The stars were shining and the leaves rustling in the woods ever so mournful, and I heard an owl way off about something that was dead, and a willow apple, and a dog crying about somebody that was going to die, and the wind was trying to whisper something to me that I couldn't make out what it was, and so it made the cold shivers run through me. Then away in the woods, I heard that kind of sound that a ghost makes when it's trying to tell something on its mind, but it can't make itself understood. So it can't rest easy in its grave. It has to go about that way every night grieving. I got so downhearted and scared. I did wish I had some company. Pretty soon a spider came crawling up my shoulder, and I flipped it off and then lit in the candle. Before I could budge, it was all shriveled up. I didn't need anybody to tell me that it was an awful bad sign and fetch me some bad luck. So I was scared and most shook the clothes off of me. I got up and turned around in my tracks 3 times and crossed my breast each time. And then I tied a little lock in my hair with the threads to keep the witches away. But I had no confidence. You do that when you've lost a horseshoe you found, instead of nailing it up on the door. But I hadn't ever heard anybody say it was a new way to keep off bad luck when you killed a spider. I sat down again, all shaken all over, and got my pipe out for a smoke, for the house was as still as death now, and so the widow wouldn't know. Well, after a long time, I heard the 12 go, the Williams hymn go, 12 right, and all still again, stiller than ever. Pretty soon I heard a twig snap down in the dark amongst the trees. Something was stirring. I sat still and listened. Directly, I could just barely hear it. Down there. That was good, says I. Down there. That was good, says I. As soft as I could. And then I put out the lamp and scrambled out the window onto the shed. Then I slipped down to the ground and crawled in amongst the trees. Sure enough, there was Tom Sawyer waiting for me.
Wonderful. That's the wonderful presentation for chapter 1. I'm so proud of my wonderful students, and she can go very, very far. Again, we're reading this wonderful book, Mark Twain. He's a humorist. He's the best American writer and is a classical writer. It's not boring, yes or no? It's funny, right? Yeah. This book makes her crazy. Okay, we are having fun together, and we are waiting for his wonderful brother to read the book for us next time.
Come on, little boy.
Okay.